so much, Danielle. It's an honor of mine to be here speaking at the Funding Stack Summit about how to use a strong set of core values in building a conscious company. So I am the CEO of Mache, and we have an eco-friendly boutique manufacturing company that serves the yoga industry, making sustainable storage. And in creating this company, as a conscious one, we looked to various principles from different religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, to find the core values underlining these religions and how they might dovetail with conscious consumerism and also the building of a conscious company. And the number one thing that stood out was this principle of ahimsa in Hindu and Buddhist religion. And ahimsa speaks to the idea of doing no harm. So that is a very common goal in the idea of a conscious company in the way of respecting the wellness of the triple bottom line, which would be expanding the current bottom line of profits to include both people and the planet. So how can we provide positive value in those three areas of planet, profit, and people? So just looking at those three aspects, we chose to create right away a hierarchy and move planet to the top of the list. And then look at, in terms of the planet, how do we address approaching the planet with doing no harm with this principle of ahimsa? And for us, that meant making more with less. How can we create beautiful things while conserving energy and minimizing carbon footprint? So this shows itself in the formulation of our company in various ways. The very first way you can approach minimizing waste and conserving energy is through product design. So at the very beginning, especially with the product-based company, CPG company, the design of the product itself has a myriad of ramifications when it comes to waste, all the way through the development phase, into production, into fulfillment, the whole cycle of that product's life. So starting with design, we engineer our products to minimize waste from the very beginning. And that starts with the dimension of the products themselves. So you'd be surprised to hear how the shipping industry actually informs the product design in our company. So the dimensions of the product to fit within everyday shipping box dimensions, how to maximize those dimensions so that we can minimize the footprint. Shipping is a huge load on the planet. And with most of us stuck at home since COVID has swept the globe, shipping has increased beyond our wildest nightmares. And how can we, maximize the product within the framework, the existing framework of shipping dimensions and shipping practices? So one way we do that is we have yoga mat tube storage. This is an example of what that looks like. So it is 100% recycled paper product, but we have this yoga tube, and then we have a stand that it sits onto. So we've worked really hard in the product development side of this company to find ways to nest products that want to ship together so that we can minimize multiple packages and really maximize the volumetric footprint inside of the shipping box. Another thing we do is look at the materials themselves. So the ingredients of these products, of course. What is the carbon footprint and the load that goes into creating these products? We specifically have a very ambitious goal to be 100% plastic free in our company and to use as much as possible recycled ingredients. So we try to hit that 100% recycled mark. But as with most things, building a company is an evolution. And the idea of being a conscious company really is based in that process. You don't just work hard and then one day achieve perfection when it comes to being aware as a company and when it comes to doing the right thing. It's very much a process as all the pieces are changing, whether that's shipping or whether that's material sourcing, your consumer, the market, how people are buying. When COVID hit, it's a perfect example of how best laid plans can go straight out the window. So it's best to work with, as much as possible, a lowered footprint and be agile in making moves to continuously lower your impact. So we do that with recycled ingredients, as I mentioned, and we also focus very much on sourcing ingredients from our location. So in our case, we try for a 300-mile radius to source ingredients for our products. And then we also take a look at packaging design. So obviously, the most sustainable packaging you can buy is none at all. But as I'm sure we're all familiar with, there is a lot of plastics used in the packaging world. And we've been very creative at Mache to find innovative ways to reuse the waste and the scraps from our manufacturing process as packaging materials. So not only is that diverting waste from going into the landfill that would be cutoffs from the manufacturing process, but it is also eliminating the need for us to purchase additional packaging materials, which saves on not only energy, but of course money. And that's always a good thing in a startup. Then we also look at our material sourcing and supply chain. So of course, making more with less goes beyond what we're doing underneath our roof in our manufacturing facility. But it definitely extends into our extended networks, our vendors. We consciously cherry pick and select other businesses and partners to work with that share our values so that we can ensure that the footprint we are tracking is accurate beyond just our business alone. As a business, it's like a village, and there's a lot of players that plug into the system to make it work, and it's worth tracking that carbon footprint across all vendors and partners as well. And then lastly, we see the idea of making more with less coming in when it comes to policy. So for instance, we have taken a hard stance on no returns at Macheco. Firstly, we strive to build products on demand to suit specific needs and stylistic preferences of our customers. That in itself minimizes inventory and waste. But taking a step further, we are fighting the river, it feels like, in a lot of ways by taking the stance of no returns. There's a huge environmental impact associated with the returns that fly across the globe on an hourly basis. And we see this as an opportunity to educate our customers and the broader public on that impact and what we can all do to minimize the impact both in our companies, but as conscious consumers. So this might not be the most popular tenet or value of our customers at first glance. We've definitely had some pushback with folks having a I need it tomorrow Amazon expectation. But like I said, we use this as an opportunity to have the conversation and really raise awareness of what those seemingly simple returns are truly doing to the planet. Then moving on to the concept of profit. How do we align our actions with our words? This is really the focus of the company when it comes to bringing positive value in the way of profits. We strive very hard to walk talk in a world that is replete with what they call greenwashing. So as a sustainable minded company, it is a challenge to be swimming in the ocean with a lot of larger companies that have only recently begun to speak the language of Earth sustainability, and many of whom are far from walking the language. So from the very onset of building this company, we made it a mission to align our actions with our words. And that shows up in 4 different ways in the company so far. The first way is in fundraising. We are actively fundraising for this venture. And we find that it is imperative to be honest and upfront about our core values when having discussions with investors and advisors, so that the allocation of funds, when the money closes and the company continues to grow from that investment, the allocation of funds is aligned with the company values and all interested parties. Everyone's on the same page and they have truly bought into the same vision. Then we see aligning action and word, much like aligning action and word in the fundraising capacity. In team building, it's very similar. So when hiring our new team members, we put our core values forward, very first thing to discuss, such that folks looking to be a part of the team know from square one what we believe in, what we stand for, and what we expect. Through that process, it becomes a magnet of sorts, attracting the folks that you really want to be a part of your company, and the people who can share the vision, are passionate about the vision. Those are the people that will share the vision with the world in the best and most authentic way. We also see aligning action and word with our customers. So it is number one for us that we share information publicly about Earth sustainability, tips and tricks of how to live more sustainably, and offering these free accessible tools allows us to become a trusted resource for the larger community. And it shows customers exactly where their dollars are going when they shop with Mache. We love the idea of, we are in the process of setting up a carbon tracking system such that everything may be extraordinarily transparent, not just to our stakeholders, but also to our customers, to the internal team, to the broader audience. And then lastly, in the profit category, under the concept of aligning words with your actions, we strive for certifications, right? So a website is a great place to publicize the hard work that often happens in the back of house in building a company. We do a lot of little tiny, recycling efforts or wellness-minded efforts within our company that could very much never make it to the public domain, never be shared on that larger stage. So we're taking efforts to not only get certified in sustainable certifications, but also create a public tracking system so that we can all celebrate in the progress as it is very much a practice to live sustainably and to build a conscious company. Under the profit category, there's also the concept for us, core value of choosing wisely. There is a lot of choice out there when it comes to being a consumer. And as a small business, we are very much consuming in order to grow. And in order to choose wisely, we vote primarily with our dollar. So it's not enough to look at what we're doing inside the confines of our warehouse, our facility, our office space, but we must look beyond that and understand how the dollars we spend with certain vendors, with sourcing certain materials, even placing advertisements, with certain partners, all of those decisions, however big or small, reflect on the values of the company. So customers, investors, advisors, the public, they will be able to track your values just by the alliances that you make in the company. The third core value that we celebrate here at Mache is the idea of handling life with care. So handling life with care, this one's near and dear to my heart, as we're all very familiar with the common belief that founders should be working themselves into the ground to create a truly monumental and meaningful organization or company. I full-heartedly reject this norm and this assumption, and I'm working creatively to express and become an example of how we can first and foremost apply self-care as a way to build a conscious and successful company. So it really starts with one as the founder, the very beginning of the company. With founder self-care, we create happy beings. We can then create happy and healthy teams. And then we can, of course, radiate out that goodness to formulate healthy communities, starting all at the very center with the individual. And the founder is not left out of that equation. Then we also look at handling the workplace with care. So workplace wellness, this is another one that is huge for me, having worked in large companies in the past with long work hours and bad working environments and furnishings. So ergonomics is huge there. This is back of house tools that create these values, enriching how we do business from the inside out. So ergonomics comes into play, stretching, meditation. These are all attributes that can be woven into the day-to-day working environment to create that foundation of health for ultimate business health. Then there's also this, obvious COVID-19 pandemic that we have still raging the earth. And that has put a whole nother lens from which to view wellness and safety in the workplace, adopting protocols to ensure that the people who come to work in our company at Mache, we are a boutique manufacturing company. We have people in production daily making products, and to provide a system so that folks know that we're keeping them safe, that we have these protocols in place so that not only can the company continue to serve its customers, but we can be sure to protect the people that really make the company what it is, the employees. And then, of course, healthcare is another big one, right? So wellness in the workplace, it always comes down to benefits in healthcare. This is a tricky one. It's always changing and shifting, it seems, and historically challenging for small business. We are taking an approach of looking at a flexible healthcare spending account where folks can use a stipend that the company provides and apply that stipend to the healthcare of their choosing. So this might be a traditional healthcare plan. This might be more of a preventative healthcare plan or an alternative healthcare plan involving yoga classes, if that's your thing, or kickboxing, or acupuncture, massage, chiropractic, a lot of the things that traditional health care plans leave out. So we're trying to take this supportive and preventative approach when it comes to wellness in the workplace. Then lastly, in the value of handling with care, the next concentric circle, if you will, would be wellness in the community and how to support that as a conscious company. There are myriad of ways you can do this. The way that we do it here at Mache is we provide free access to meditation classes, yoga classes, endless tips in sustainable living, all found within the website and the blog. But really at the root of it, Mache creates products to support self-care. So everything that we do is within or seen through the lens of how can we not only do no harm, but how can we increase or optimize health and wellness of people and the planet. So our products are all designed specifically to encourage folks to engage in the act of self-care so that they can be their best selves and support their communities. We also are very proud of the fact that we're creating local manufacturing jobs in the United States. That, of course, is part of a broader goal of caring for our specific community. And we also partner with wellness artists and partners that are dedicated to the message of self-care and wellness as we are. Then lastly, to embrace change is our final core value here at Mache. And I think an extremely relevant one in the wake of last year and now this year with COVID-19 truly shaking things up, to say the least. So there is that old adage that a tree that does not bend in the wind breaks. And we have all seen that happen with countless businesses over the past year. It has been a huge upheaval for the yoga industry, the primary market that we serve. And we, as a very young company, newly launched at the time of COVID's first appearance, we learned that tenet, that skill to move and sway and bend in the wind really quickly, having to shift all of our focus from B2B sales, so selling to yoga studios and small businesses, and pretty much reinvent the company to address now yoga at home, with everyone stuck at their homes and desperate for some peace of mind, some self-care, and that level of agility and flexibility was critical in this time of huge upheaval, but an essential quality to have throughout the life of a business. It's very much true that a business is an evolution in itself. So try to resist the temptation to resist change and instead embrace it. At Mache, we have an overarching ambitious goal to eliminate waste and do that by freely sharing information and by leading by example. These 5 core values that I've just discussed are what we use to keep us on track for success for that goal. And I'd be happy to discuss with you anything that relates to your company or that you might be working through when it comes to either setting up some core values or building a conscious company in general. Thank you for your time today.